14 of the most unbelievable court cases. 14. As sober as a judge. Have you ever had too much to drink and hated yourself the next day? Well, in 1995, a Virginia prisoner, Robert Lee Brock, was so mad that he sued himself for violating his own civil rights. Brock told the judge that his religion forbids him to drink, and by doing so, he committed a crime. This inmate is no stranger to bizarre lawsuits, but this one the judge called creative but ludicrous. 13. What's the magic word? A man called Christopher Roller not only believed he was God, but was also convinced that David Blaine and David Copperfield were using godly powers and therefore defying the laws of physics. Christopher wanted $50 million and demanded to know their magical tricks. Roller is lucky that the two Davids did not make him disappear. 12. Well, this secret is out. A 52-year-old traffic officer from LA, Macreda Patterson, sued Victoria's Secret after she claimed that a metal clasp from a thong she tried on snapped off and hit her in the eye. Financial compensation is unspecified, but the woman said she suffered permanent damage to her eye. One has to wonder, though, if perhaps she was trying to put one on that was slightly too small, and the stretching and tugging is what caused the clasp to pop off. 11. A game of snakes and lawyers. You might think all lawyers are snakes, but putting it on record might get you on the wrong side of the law. Lawyer Linda Ross sued GTE Directories after listing her phone number in the Yellow Pages under the reptile section. Needless to say, Linda got tired of getting strange phone calls with people hissing over the phone. But the last straw was when somebody sent a copy of the page to talk show host Jay Leno. She said it damaged her career very badly. 10. Fruitless expenditure. A 37-year-old Glaswegian police officer, Tracy Ormsby, suffered from minor whiplash when she was hit by a flying pineapple during a protest in Glasgow in 2001. She tried to claim damages of up to £1.5 million. The protest was due to the closure of a popular public swimming pool, and no doubt the pineapple was destined to just be another pina colada. Tracy had just broken up with a detective and decided to blame the pineapple for her emotional trauma. This turned out to be a fairly fruitless exercise. 9. Staying abreast of things. A physical therapist from Florida sued his local gentleman's bar in 1996 when a dancer, without his consent, jumped on his face during his bachelor party, shoving her breasts, which he said felt like metal, in his face. Paul Shimokas wanted compensation of $15,000 for pain and suffering, mental anguish, disfigurement, and a loss of capacity for enjoying life. His claim was denied because the metal breasts he was referring to were probably his fiancée's fists. 8. Oh dear. Imagine the horror when two members of PETA, People for Ethical Treatment of Animals, hit a deer on their way back from an anti-hunting campaign. The guilt must have been too much to deal with, and Dan Shannon and Jay Kelly felt they should sue the New Jersey Division of Fish and Wildlife for not controlling their deer population. 7. Pointing fingers. In 2005, Anna Ayanda sued Wendy's after finding a finger in her chili. It was later discovered that she planted the finger there herself. Wendy's claimed that they lost business to the value of about $21 million due to the bogus claim. Anna and her husband were sentenced to prison. Am I the only one wondering where the finger came from? 6. Call me maybe. Who does not hate those unwanted cold calls trying to offer you insurance, give you credit, or try to sell you something you already have or don't really need? For many people, this court case might have been a bit silly, but for others, British businessman Richard Herman is a hero. Richard, who was fed up with receiving unwanted calls, went to the small claims court to sue the company for £195, including his court fees. He invoiced the company £10 for every call, which he says wasted his time. He won. 5. He just didn't do it. A Portland pimp who nearly killed a man by kicking him with his pair of Air Jordans sued Nike for not putting a warning on their shoes to tell customers that it could be used as a deadly weapon. Sir Giorgio Clardy was sentenced to 100 years in prison. Clardy sued Nike for $100,000 shortly after being sentenced. The case was kicked out before going to trial. 4. This was no peeing Tom. We all know how women love going to the toilet together, but for a lawyer from San Diego, the thought of even sharing a public toilet with a woman at a rock concert left him traumatized, embarrassed, and upset. Bob Glazer even went as far as blaming the company who sold him the beer, which filled up his bladder. He demanded nearly $5 million in compensation. The judge dismissed the case, and next time, he better learn to hold it in. 3. An act of God. In 2007, a senator from Nebraska asked a question millions of people have asked in the past. If there is a God, then why would he allow natural disasters claiming the lives of hundreds of thousands of people? Ernie Chambers was definitely not the first person to sue God, and probably won't be the last. He wanted God to make a legal point for his actions and was seeking a permanent injunction against him. Chambers is a self-proclaimed agnostic who regularly criticizes Christians. 2. Clipping their wings. It's not every day we hear about a normal man on the street taking on a global empire, especially if a court rules in their favor. Benjamin Carruthers got the attention of the entire world when he sued Red Bull for falsely advertising that their drink gives you wings. Benjamin was a regular consumer for a decade and felt that the company deliberately misled the public. This trial was costly, and Red Bull had to settle outside of court. They promised to refund every person who bought an energy drink since 2002 with $10 and amend their slogan. But how do you prove to any shop that you bought a Red Bull 10 years ago? Impossible. 1. The long and the short of it. It took 32-year-old Jason Leslie from New Jersey 14 years to realize that his foot-long sandwich from Subway was not exactly a foot long. Jason was furious that it took him so long to realize this, as we all know that men know all there is to know about size and inches. He sued Subway for millions, accusing them of misleading advertising, since their footlongs were at least half an inch shorter. He investigated 17 Subways and none of them measured up. The end result? I think we should go and order a footlong to see. Which of these court cases do you find the craziest? Tell us in the comment section below, and subscribe to our channel for more great videos just like this. Thanks for watching.